backers, developers, welcome to my SC TED Talk. Star Citizen today does not have a unified model for how information exists, moves, degrades, or is perceived inside the universe. Scanning, communication, detection, economy data, mission updates, voice and awareness all exist as either disconnected systems, placeholder implementations, or external dependencies. As a result, players don't read the universe. They guess at it, rely on UI abstractions, third-party tools, or meta-knowledge that exists outside the game world itself. The universe looks persistent, but the information layer that should make it understandable, survivable, and navigable is fragmented or missing. This proposal is not about revealing exploration or spoiling discovery. Exploration and expedition should remain cryptic by design. What this document focuses on are the foundational systems underneath discovery, the rules that determine how information is generated, how it propagates through space, how it weakens or strengthens over distance and infrastructure, and how players become aware of the world around them in the first place. Pieces of this already exist in Star Citizen today. Early scanning logic, pings, comm arrays, derelicts, signatures, directional systems influencing bounty hunting, and basic voice and chat layers. But they exist in isolation. What's missing is a single, coherent backbone that ties them together into one readable model of the universe. What I'm proposing is a signals-first framework, a unified information layer where everything that exists in the persistent universe emits detectable information, where players interpret the world based on what their tools can perceive, and where awareness itself becomes a deliberate, risk-based choice instead of a free UI convenience. At the center of this idea is one non-negotiable principle. Players must control their emissions, on their mobiGlas and on any vehicles or ships they enter. Awareness should never be automatic. Every scan performed, every ship hailed, every broadcast sent, every time a Mobi connects to a ground relay or even a voice transmission should involve a decision: how much reach you want, what it costs in terms of detectability, and how the actions you choose make you visible to others nearby or at a distance. This matters because Star Citizen is aiming for a 1-0 future where persistence is real and death has weight. In a universe where mistakes are costly, information becomes currency. Knowing more should help you survive, but it should also expose you. The universe shouldn't silently protect the player, it should respond to them. The universe itself and everything in it, from planets, moons, asteroids, humans, aliens, clothing items, weapons, fauna, derelicts, anything the developers add, anything a player crafts or creates, emits its own signal. Those signals vary across a spectrum, across wavelengths of data that tools like the mobiGlas and ship scanners can detect, analyze, and interpret. The universe speaks to backers, to AI running their own activities, providing information continuously, and always at a cost for those who choose to listen. From that foundation, the universe becomes readable through signals and returns. Objects do not wait to be queried. They emit information continuously based on their nature and activity. Power systems generate electromagnetic output. Engines and reactors produce thermal and radiation signatures. Mass itself becomes a signal through detectable gravitational influence. Active machinery, life support, weapons, and scanners all add identifiable noise. None of this requires full visual rendering to exist. Scanning is the act of interpreting those emissions. A scanner does not reveal truth instantly. It gathers returns whose clarity depends on distance, tuning, focus, power, environment, and interference, always starting with the equipment you have. At extreme range, a return may only indicate that something with mass and energy exists in this direction. As distance closes and more power or focus is committed, the return resolves into shape, activity state, composition hints, or classification. Distance thresholds can add or remove information dynamically. As you get closer, you learn more. As you move away, detail fades. Scanning must never be always on. It is a posture the player or AI actively controls. Wide, low-intensity sweeps provide coarse situational awareness with lower exposure. Narrow, focused beams increase signal clarity and confidence, but sharply increase power draw, heat, and electromagnetic output. Short pulses allow quick reads. Sustained scanning should be risky. The more information a player extracts, the more information they give away. This only works if detection is symmetrical. Ships, vehicles, powered facilities, and active tools must emit strongly enough to be detected by opposing scanners at appropriate ranges based on scanner quality and configuration. Stealth is not invisibility, it is disciplined emission management. Turning systems off matters, powering systems on matters. Choice matters in every situation presented to the player or AI through situational awareness. Tools scale this model by distance and fidelity, not immunity. The Mobiglass scanner provides limited short-range sensing, around a 1,000-meter radius, for example. It allows the player to interpret nearby emissions, hazards, life signs, structures, electrical activity, atmospheric conditions, within a constrained range, limited by battery and posture. It cannot see through space. It listens, samples, and occasionally pulses. Each action consumes power and generates detectable noise only when the player or AI chooses to activate it. A player can also disable their Mobiglass emissions entirely and move silently. Ground vehicles extend this range and stability, enabling safer traversal and environmental awareness on hostile surfaces. Their scanners reach farther, resolve terrain and structures more clearly, and sustain longer operation, but they also emit more strongly and become easier to detect than someone on foot using only a Mobiglass. Ship scale scanning through scanner tier, onboard computer specialization, and available power. Small ships trade reach for discretion. Larger ships trade discretion for awareness. Capital and specialist platforms do not simply see farther. They interpret more deeply, resolving material composition, signal anomalies, and activity patterns at range, at the cost of immense power draw and unmistakable presence. Fleets operating in proximity amplify one another's signatures. Infrastructure gives players leverage over awareness without removing consequence. Mobiglass provides only a limited local range. To extend beyond it, players must connect to ground relay nodes deliberately placed across planets. Relays must be repaired or restored, interconnect locally into visible networks, and extend usable information without forcing constant broadcasting. These networks link into cities as major hubs, then to orbital relays, planetary comm arrays, and interplanetary links. Jump points function as timed burst relays, not universal conduits. Outside array influence is true dead space. Connectivity expands reach, it never removes risk. Establishing communication dead zones beyond comm array influence is essential to make these choices meaningful. Communication and detection should not be universally available. Terrain, weather, distance from infrastructure, restricted regions, prisons, deep wilderness, and open space naturally limit awareness and require engagement with the scanning loop. In these spaces, players are not helpless. They are forced to decide whether to remain quiet and uncertain or loud and informed. Economy and logistics follow the same rules. Price changes, demand, mission availability, and news propagate through infrastructure rather than appearing everywhere instantly. Convoys generate detectable presence through overlapping emissions. Pirates and defenders alike operate by disrupting, masking, repairing, and interpreting signals. Everyone plays the same game. Persistence emerges naturally from this model. Wrecks and derelicts do not require constant full rendering at a distance. They persist as signals, material signatures detectable at range. Salvagers use scanning to locate these signatures and resolve them into usable detail. Hull material, condition, and components revealed through interpretation rather than markers. Voice communication should be treated as a fully realized in-world system, not a convenience layer. The goal is to make in-game voice so immersive, responsive, and context-aware that players naturally prefer it over third-party tools. Voice should obey the same rules as signals: distance, infrastructure, interference, and degradation. Leaving range or entering storms should reduce clarity before silence, reinforcing spatial awareness through sound. Proximity voice must always exist, even when focused on other channels at reduced volume, so the world is never muted. Players should fluidly switch between private, party, mission, org, fleet, and broadcast channels via quick keybinds with clear feedback. Large operations require TeamSpeak-style hierarchy, squads nested under command with selective broadcast control. Entering or leaving vehicles, ships, or mission spaces should automatically shift comm context. Voice activation should be the default for presence and immersion, with systems detecting abuse, music noise, and auto-enforcing push-to-talk. If you believe this should be treated as a 1.0 level foundation rather than a collection of features, please upvote so it gains visibility.